I'd like to buy a bedroom set.
Do you have any credit?
No, I receive Social Security and welfare.
You ever see the special man?
Let her have it. With no problem.
I like to buy a living room set.
Do you have any credit?
No, I filed bankruptcy.
You have to see the special man.
Let her have it. With no problem.
I say, see Frankie and Johnny, he's the credit man in town. For only $50 down, he can put you in a living room set, a bedroom set today. See the special man.
I got the $50. I like to...
Hey, Ryan. Hi, this is Sarah Palin.
Ryan, Donald Trump Jr.
Hogs to win, see you. Hey, everybody, I want y'all to check out a fellow Marines podcast.
My name is Ted Nugent, and I got a call from my buddy Ryan F. Samuels, and he wants me to tell you that he's a working hard, playing all-American son of a who is celebrating God, family, country.
Welcome to the Ryan Samuels Show, one of the top political podcasts in the United States, where we have a healthy distrust for government and mainstream media. The Ryan Samuels Show is a raw, unfiltered look at American politics. Follow on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, and all podcast platforms. Here is your host, Ryan Samuels.
Hello, Patriots. Welcome back to another episode of the Ryan Samuels Show. Today, my book's a little off here. Don't forget to go to ryanmsamuels.com and pick up a copy of my new book, How to Climb the Corporate Ladder. It's basically my life story. It's a great book. Of course, I wrote it. I'm going to say that, right? But go online, buy it. You could buy it on Amazon for like $3 if you download the ebook. But anyway, still not centered correctly. All right. We're just going to have to give in on this. But the big talking point, this has been the biggest political hot button since its inception, and that's Social Security. Now, I mean, Social Security was, when it was brought into legislation, led by FDR, one of our worst American presidents. Yes, I said worst because he was a garbage president, and everything he did should be repealed. You weren't supposed to collect it till after you were dead. It was a tax. It even went to the Supreme Court. It was challenged as unconstitutional, and then it went to the Supreme Court, and they argued, no, it's not a social program. It's just a tax. And so it's a big Ponzi scheme where the government touches the money, uses the money for other things. That's why it's running out, and it's really bad. And you can make much more money. If you weren't forced to put into Social Security, you could literally put that into a 401k, some sort of ETF, and your money would grow exponentially better than it would with Social Security. If you took up all the money you put into Social Security, you'd get 10 times the amount back if you invested it into a private portfolio. But this is the talking point. Threatening, if you're on either side of the aisle, and Democrats have talked about it too, if you are on either side of the aisle, then you talking about getting rid of Social Security is political suicide. You're taking away people's benefits. What about people on disability? It's really hard to navigate. And particularly Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, welfare, all of these entitlements are draining the United States budget. I mean, there's so much wasteful spending that it is extremely hard for it to last. Now, Donald Trump has previously come out and he had said that he would not touch Social Security. Let's listen to this.
Under no circumstances should Republicans vote to cut a single penny from Medicare or Social Security to help pay for Joe Biden's reckless spending spree, which is more reckless than anybody's ever done or had in the history of our country. Biden has blown out the federal budget, wasted trillions on left-wing lunacy and the ridiculous Green New Deal, which is a tremendous problem and embarrassment to us, and thrown open our treasury and our borders to migrants from all over the world. In fact, migrants that are coming from prisons and migrants that are coming from mental institutions are being dropped into the United States, and we do nothing about it. I had the safest border in the history of our country just 2 years ago. And now we have probably the worst border in the history of the world. I don't think any country has ever had anything like we have right now. Well, we absolutely need to stop Biden's out-of-control spending. The pain should be borne by Washington bureaucrats, not by hardworking American families and American seniors. The seniors are being absolutely destroyed in the last 2 years. Cut the hundreds of billions of taxpayer dollars going to corrupt foreign countries. Cut the mass releases of illegal aliens that are depleting our social safety net and destroying our country. Cut the left-wing gender programs from our military. Cut the billions being spent on climate extremism. Cut waste, fraud, and abuse everywhere that we can find it, and there's plenty of it. But do not cut the benefits our seniors worked for and paid for their entire lives. Save Social Security. Don't destroy it. The Democrats are looking to destroy Social Security. We're not going to let them do it. Thank you very much.
I mean, pretty clear, you would say, right? I mean, I'm just asking because, you know, the story that we're getting from the left is a little bit, it's a little different than what we just heard. Let's hear Joe Biden.
Republicans will cut Social Security and Medicare to give us more tax cuts for the wealthy. Even this morning, Donald Trump said cuts to Social Security and Medicare are on the table again. When asked if he changed his position, he said, quote, "There's a lot you can do in terms of cutting. Tremendous amount of things you can cut."
Well, there is a lot you can do in terms of entitlements, in terms of cutting.
The bottom line is he's still at it. I'm never going to allow that to happen. I won't cut Social Security. I won't cut Medicare.
You can't. You don't have that power.
Instead of cutting Medicare and give tax breaks to the wealthy, I will protect and strengthen Social Security and Medicare and make the wealthy begin to pay their fair share.
That's a video by the Lincoln Project, by the way, which is just a garbage organization. But you know, Joe Biden says that he's going to protect Social Security. And I wonder if that is his position, like his real position. Or, I mean, has he ever been against it? Has he ever wanted to cut Social Security? That's a question. I mean, the guy's been in office for 100 years, right? What's this video? Let's watch this.
When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well.
Oh, my God.
I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government. And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time. When I argued that we should freeze...
Oh, so he wants to freeze Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, everything. That was when he was in the Senate, by the way. I mean, it's election season, and Democrats are just, they're desperate. They are so freaking desperate to try and come up with something. Here's another video of Joe Biden in 2005.
Raising the cap, raising the retirement age for people who are now 30 years old, raising the tax on Social Security, cutting benefits. They're all things that have to be discussed, quite frankly.
Here's the thing, and I'm going to say it. What he's saying is not wrong. But in election season, it's wrong. Nobody can say it, even Trump. Now, Trump did say that, you know, there's things that need to be done because every politician is aware that, listen, you know, there are things like Social Security, like it's not going to last if we keep doing what we're doing. And all politicians do is kick the can down the road until they finish their term, and then they can leave it to the next guy to try to figure it out. But in the end, something's going to have to be done about it because it's a socialist program, and at a certain point, you run out of other people's money, which is where we're getting to with Social Security. It's a big Ponzi scheme. You know, you got the boomers all retiring. There's not enough people to support them on retirement. You know, the age to retire is 65 on Social Security. And Ben Shapiro talked about this. We'll watch this video. But Joe Biden is in his 80s, but he should have collected Social Security 20 years ago. And he's the president of the United States. So, I mean, that's something to discuss here. Let's listen to this clip that the left is just mentally breaking down on.
One last question.
Go ahead.
Entitlements ever be on your plate?
At some point they will be. We have tremendous growth. We're going to have tremendous growth. This next year, it'll be toward the end of the year. The growth is going to be incredible. And at the right time, we will take a look at that. You know, that's actually the easiest of all things, if you look, because it's such a big percentage.
You're willing to do some of
If you don't cut something in entitlements, you'll never really deal with the debt.
We'll be cutting, but we're also going to have growth like you've never had before.
You changed your outlook on how to handle entitlements, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Mr. President? It seems like something has to be done, or else we're going to be stuck at 120% of debt to GDP forever.
So first of all, there is a lot you can do in terms of entitlements, in terms of cutting. And
I mean, there is. I mean, raising the retirement age is one of them. That's not the end of the world. That's not cutting the program. That's not moving it back. That's, I mean, I think reasonable. So Ben Shapiro, and I like Ben Shapiro a lot. Media Matters, that glorious trash pile of a company, they came out and they pulled this video and they're blasting it as if Ben Shapiro is some sort of evil monster. Let's listen to what he had to say.
And let's be real about this. It's insane that we haven't raised the retirement age in the United States. It's totally crazy. Joe Biden, if that were the case, Joe Biden should not be running for president. Hey, Joe Biden is 81 years old. The retirement age in the United States at which you start to receive Social Security and you are eligible for Medicare is 65. Joe Biden has technically been eligible for Social Security and Medicare for 16 years, and he wants to continue in office until he is 86, which is 19 years past when he would be eligible for retirement. No one in the United States should be retiring at 65 years old. Frankly, I think retirement itself is a stupid idea unless you have some sort of health problem. Everybody that I know who is elderly, who has retired, is dead within 5 years. And if you talk to people who are elderly and they lose their purpose in life by losing their job and they stop working, things go to hell in a handbasket real quick. But put all of that aside, just on a fiscal level and on a logical level. When Franklin Delano Roosevelt established 65 as the retirement age, the average life expectancy in the United States was 63 years old. Today, the average life expectancy in the United States is close to 80. It's totally insane that you believe that you should be able to work from the time that you are essentially 20 to the time that you are 65, which is a 45-year period, pay in, and then you'll receive Social Security benefits sufficient to support you and your family, you and your wife or whatever, for like another 20 years. That's crazy talk. That is not fiscally sustainable. The notion that if you have to raise the retirement age to 67 or 68, that everyone is going to fall apart. My parents are that age. My parents are not retired. And they shouldn't retire. It would be very bad for them to retire. By the way, it's disrespectful to people who are 67, 68, 69 years old to suggest that they are in the same shape as people who are 65 were in 1940. It's not true at all. Have you met a 65-year-old lately? 65-year-olds are not old in the United States. They're not. 68-year-olds are not old in the United States. Again, Joe Biden thinks he's not old, and that dude is running for president again, and that dude actually is old, and he's 81. I fail to see how a country in which our entire leadership class is 80 plus is telling you that we should have a retirement age of 65. It makes no sense at all.
I mean, he's not wrong whatsoever. The retirement age of Social Security has never changed. So that's what you got. I mean, you got this incredible phenomenon where you should be retiring at the same time that they did in the 40s. I mean, he's got a tremendous point there. Maybe it's time. I mean, what's wrong with raising it to 67 or 68 or 70? I mean, what's wrong with that? You still have an early option, right? You could retire at an early option age. I mean, that's a thing. You don't get as much, but you'd start getting it sooner. And Social Security is not supposed to replace your entire retirement. It's supposed to supplement. You're not supposed to be able to live off of your Social Security money. It's supposed to be in addition to your retirement. But, I mean, the whole thing is a scam.
This is all a scam. I mean, we got people that's getting ready to retire that's going to try to live off $2,000 to $3,000. Impossible. It's impossible. Because what happens, it comes up here, we spend it. We're $35 trillion in debt. We don't have any money. We're dead broke. And then taxpayers have $2 trillion in credit card debt. We are in huge trouble. In this body, we had better start figuring that out, because we're going to have a run on this city here soon, and there's going to be about 150 million people coming up here saying, where's our damn money that we paid in? I could have put my Social Security money 40 years in tax in the market and probably be worth 8 to 10 million today. But the federal government wasted it. So I'll get off my horse there. But it's good that we have this, because we got, you know, I get a little pension check from education. I was part of a union. It's not going to help people. People are going to have to work, continue to work longer and longer. Am I right, Ms. Gender? Can you say something about Social Security and it being taxed for some reason? We're taxing people for the second time on the Social Security that they put into an account.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out when Social Security was first founded, those who established it, it was started out as a 2% tax, and they said this will never take more than 6% of your income. Today it takes 12.4%, and depending on whether you go with CBO or Social Security trustees, it needs to take between 15.8 and 17.5%. So we're talking about thousands of dollars more per year. It also was actually only originally recommended that the tax be up to $66,000, equivalent in today's dollars of earnings. But over time, it has expanded massively, and the money has been spent every year. So whereas everybody thinks this money's been set aside for me, no, for the past 13 years, every dollar that has gone out of workers' paychecks has gone immediately to pay promised benefits. And that's what happens when you have a system that enables those in charge of it to spend the money in the immediate term and leave the buck to the next generation that's coming along. And because Social Security has grown so much, it's actually to the detriment of lower income workers in particular, who have to pay such a large share of their paycheck to Social Security, they have little left to save for retirement. And then lower income and African American workers have the lowest life expectancies. So they are the most likely to get nothing back in return. 1 out of 4 African American men will die between the ages of 45 and 64 after having paid into this system for decades, tens if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they might get nothing back.
And that's exactly what the government wants. They want you to die before you can collect. That's why what Ben Shapiro said, you know, the life expectancy was 63, and you're supposed to collect at 65. That meant the majority of people at most would collect for 2 years. 2 years. Now we have people collecting for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. I mean, don't ever let the government control anything. I mean, that generation let them get their foot in the door. 2%, now it's 12.5%. Imagine what you could do if you got a 12.5% raise. Just do the math. Whatever you're making plus 12.5%. And then you put that into some sort of ETF or retirement fund, 403B, 401A, 401K, Roth IRA, traditional IRA, you know, even just a money market account, what you could do. I mean, he's not kidding. From the time you start paying into Social Security to the time you retire, you would be a millionaire. I'm not lying. I'm not making that up. That's absolute truth. But here we are giving money to the federal government who's just pissing it away. And every politician knows something has to be done about it. I don't care who's lying to the camera. If Trump's telling you nothing has to be done about it, he's saying it for votes. Same thing with Biden. It's election season. But Social Security is a damn disaster.
What's the solution?
I think we ultimately have to shift towards a universal benefit system. That's what true social insurance is. It does not make sense that we are paying the biggest benefits to the highest income earners. So gradually over time, I think we need to bend down the benefits for the middle and upper income earners, actually increase them for the lower income earners. Look at things like indexing retirement age to life expectancy, more accurate inflation index. And I think that workers need an option to have their money in something that actually earns a positive rate of return and that can't just immediately be spent by Congress.
I have a 28 and 29-year-old, 2 boys, got a job, working hard, paying Social Security. They ask me all the time, Dad, will I ever see any of that money? Will they see it?
I think they will see some of it. That's the exact same thing I hear whenever I ask a group of younger workers, and none of them raises their hand. So I think that there will be something there, but it's not going to be what has been promised.
Mr. Stevens, you got anything to add to that?
Thank you, Senator. What I would add is when we talk about Social Security or we talk about pensions, the two things that they both have in common is that guaranteed income. You know what you're going to get, generally speaking, at the end of it. What I reference in terms of protected retirement, we have developed now solutions that get at both of those in a very efficient way, and they also address the issue around market volatility because we have step-ups and lock-ins, and it's a very efficient way to deliver that to millions of Americans that we've been talking, and that's all because of what you all did around Secure Act 1.0 and 2.0. They have put us in a position to do that, and that's why I'm really encouraging us to have.
I mean, it's a major problem. This is not something that's just going to go away on its own. We've been kicking it down the road for way too long. And they want to say, oh, Republicans are lying about Social Security. Everybody's lying about Social Security. Everybody's lying about Social Security. Any politician who's been in there for however long understands that. I mean, this is like, but when you buy votes, you pigeonhole yourself into a corner. And the corner that we are stuck in is the corner of we are running out of money if we vote for this candidate, they're going to get rid of my benefits, my money coming in every month. If I vote for this other candidate and I'm going to keep my money, but the economy is going to crash. I mean, that's kind of where we are, but people are not, no citizen is going to vote that away. They're going to move in their own self-interest. I mean, that's exactly how it is. And this is why socialism doesn't work. This is one of the reasons. Because we're stuck with this program that is destroying us and nobody can get rid of it because then they won't have a job. So that video that we just listened to was Senator Tommy Tuberville. This is him again.
I want to say a quick word about the reconciliation bill we passed last week. The massive $1.9 trillion bill was not COVID relief, it was liberal relief. Everybody and everyone needs to understand what this was. It was not a rescue plan, it was a heist of taxpayers' money. We don't have $1.9 trillion to be spending. When we have to borrow this much money, we're digging our country deeper into debt. And with this massive spending bill,
and I mean, that's about COVID, but it's the same mentality. Spend, 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 spend. Spend it all. Get rid of it all. Spend the money. I mean, Congress doesn't care. They're still going to get paid. It won't matter. It will not matter to them whatsoever. Now, here's Joe Biden. I mean, this guy is just a friggin' train wreck. Here he is with one of his little, Twitter ads.
So first of all, there is a lot you can do in terms of entitlements, in terms of cutting. And
this man has no idea what he's talking about. And over my dead body, we cut Social Security so we can give tax breaks to the super wealthy. It's just outrageous. And everything he's saying is absolutely wrong. This is worth the fight all by itself.
How would cutting Social Security give a tax break to the super wealthy? wouldn't I just, Joe, you don't make any sense ever. I mean, if he's going to cut Social Security and stop money coming in, why would he give tax breaks to the super wealthy? I mean, it doesn't make any damn sense. It doesn't make any damn sense. But Joe Biden never makes any sense whatsoever. Here is the glorious, illustrious House Minority Leader.
We need to protect and strengthen Social Security and Medicare, not try to eradicate it as we know it, which is clearly what Donald Trump and the extreme MAGA Republicans would like to do.
He just acts just like Barack Obama. It's like he doesn't even have a personality of his own. Hakeem Jeffries. I mean, that guy's a friggin' clown. I mean, look, his video got community noted because that's not what Republicans are saying they want to do. They're not going to be able to do that. It's not gonna work. They're never gonna get elected or reelected or whatever. Here's Joe Biden again. This is MSNBC.
Already, 158 House Republicans have signed on to a Republican budget that will cut Medicare and Social Security. Already. The man in charge of electing Republicans in the U.S. Senate, Senator Rick Scott of Florida, has proposed a plan to put Social Security in the chopping block every 5 years. De novo. No, I know this sounds like, but I really mean it. Look, go on the internet and check it out. They've laid out the platform. It means every 5 years, according to if they succeed in the Senate, the Congress will vote to either cut, reduce, or completely eliminate Social Security or bring it back exactly as it is. What do you think the prospects of it coming back exactly as it is? You've been paying into Social Security ever since you got your first paycheck. Well, then there's Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin. As my mother would say, God bless his soul. Look, he thinks waiting 5 years is too long. He wants to put Social Security in the chopping block every single year. If Congress doesn't vote to keep it, it goes away. An affirmative requirement to vote to keep it. Now think of that. It's not just Social Security he wants to put up. You want Medicare, Medicaid benefits, every federal budget, every federal benefit gets up and has to be voted on every year.
I literally have zero problem with just getting rid of Social Security, any social program. I mean, I think we should get rid of half of the government. You wouldn't need an income tax if we didn't have all this outrageous spending. We could just get rid of the income tax. And, you know, Joe Biden's up here talking about, extreme MAGA Republicans. Extreme, but he's the one who has been going around in 2005 saying that we need to get rid of Social Security completely. And now he's just, it's election season. It's election season. That's all that it is. And yet we're giving out, we don't have this kind of money. We do not have this kind of money to do all of the things that we're doing here. This is an interview with a guy on the street who is looking for a job, and he's pissed that they're giving all these migrants, you know, thousands of dollars when they're illegal aliens and should be deported.
What do you think about the governor giving credit cards to the migrants?
I should get credit card. All I got is and that's why I have to be out here, because I need more money, and they give the migrants check cards now and everything, and I have to stand here begging for money. Think about it, a citizen, because all I have is Social Security. I can't live on that. It's New York City, and then they tell me I can't work. Imagine a U.S. citizen. They say, "Oh, you're too old." I go, "What?" They came to me, and I said, "That's crazy." That's why I'm here. I said, "You know what? I fight discrimination."
Who's to blame for all this?
Oh my God, Biden, the mayor, Congress. You know, it's a whole spiel. The problem now is you can't let so many in. There's too many coming in. Thousands and thousands and thousands. You see Times Square? It's like a third world country. And a citizen got to stand here because they won't hire me. Imagine a citizen. I want to work. They say, "Oh, you're too old." That's crazy.
Paul, I appreciate you, man.
Thanks a lot. Good luck.
Well, good for him for doing what he's doing and standing out there. I'm pretty sure they cannot hire you because you're too old. But I mean, look, that guy collects Social Security. Does he look old and incapable to you? Or is he energetic and out on the street wearing his signs? I mean, he's getting Social Security now. And, obviously it's not enough. It's never enough. Social Security is never going to be enough. Thank you for tuning in. This is Ryan Samuels. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And if you're listening on the podcast, download this podcast. Download, and please leave a 5-star review. We will see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to The Ryan Samuels Show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.